everybody. I've just decided to dive in head first this week and stop readjusting and adjusting the camera. Virgo season's on the way out. Oh, and I think we've still got some Virgo left. But let's just go. Leslie Plazz, by the way, Zazoo Plazz, here for another edition of the Sunday report from the woods, which Connecticut, behind my house. We're not seeing the foliage yet, but it's early. It's September 18th, 2022 today. So, it's been a pretty intense week in Zazoo land, in the world. Wow. Let's just take a deep breath. Blow it out. I survived. Oh, I have to say, it's a beautiful time of year in New England. This is the time of year that I really am thankful that I live here, because I like change. I like the seasons, And even if it gets a little hot in the summer and a little cold in the winter, it's good. Change is good. I like change. I like change within reason, Lately, the change has been like fast and furious. It's been hammered. We've been hammered with change. It used to be, man, I remember as a kid, I felt like, okay, I'm here, let's go. And then it's like, hurry up and slow down. I grew up, this is my preamble here. I'm getting there. I grew up in a family where my parents were both earth signs. My dad, still around. Capricorn and Taurus. And I is the Scorpio, the water sign. I did like a certain amount of stability, but it was more like, like the way water can be calm, like a lake. That kind of like, I like things to be emotionally stable and then go deep, That's Scorpio. Scorpio sort of presents, it's a fixed water, so it's, it looks kind of, it can be, outwardly intense, fixed, but then under the surface, it's ruled by Pluto. There's stuff going on there you have no idea, so, and growing up with my earth sign parents, they were agonizingly slow to me as a child, and then even as I grew up. Everyone would eat slowly and deliberately, sit down. Of course, that was our culture back then. It was more so, but it was exaggerated in my case. It seemed to me that everything took so long. Everything. And in the house I grew up in, even more so, It's ironic that my parents collected clocks. I had all these antique clocks. We'd go on Sundays, and all this is, I write about in Zazoo Plazz, the book. Click the link and go get it if you haven't read it. But, I had a traditional New England upbringing. But most of my classmates' parents didn't go antique shopping on the weekend, And for all the clocks that we had, they were all set to different times. So I grew up with the sense that there's no such thing as time, and time is everything. And therefore, I've always had an uncertain relationship with time and a fascination with it. When I was releasing my book in end of February 2020, I was working with some people, and I said to this woman who I was working with, who's a mentor of mine. Hi, Julian. We said, oh, we're going to plan, some book launches. And I said, oh, I could have it at the Clock Museum over on the west side of the river. And, well, needless to say, that didn't happen. But I thought, that would be so appropriate. And now I'm thinking it's probably a good thing I didn't. Because I think that as I've gotten to know Zazoo, who is my alter ego, I've come to realize that she transcends time. And in a way, all of us, we're on this planet, and on this planet, there's such a thing as gravity and time. But if you explore other realms, as our souls have done, we're much less, focused on that traditional, human polarized sense of time. And if you think about it, the way you were brought up really has something to do with what, and in terms of your Saturn sign, where's your Saturn? Mine is in my 6th house of everyday work, right? So I'm learning in this life to have, discipline, to be self-disciplined and motivated. So that's also where we find our challenges. Where is your Saturn sign? Mine's in Pisces, in the 6th house, which is service to others, health, work, healing, whatever. So, I have this sense of duty. So I think that the way that I was raised probably was, intentional, because I have this incredible amount of energy, but if you don't channel your energy into, to some extent, I had to come into this world and get humbled and get, I had so to speak, I had to take the escalator down a little bit. When I was a kid, oh my gosh, we used to go to these places and, oh hello, a butterfly is visiting me. My mother used to take me on the bus. We'd go into Hartford and we'd go to G. Fox and Sage Allen, which were big department stores in downtown Hartford back in the, 60s, 70s. They were still around, and then they kind of started to die off. But those of us who've lived in the greater Hartford area, we know, it phased out. G. Fox became Filene's, became Macy's, and then, so if you live long enough, you start to think about these things. And today I was thinking, one fixed thing in Zazoo has been, throughout my childhood growing up, elevators and escalators, and I have these dreams where I go up and down, I go all around, transportation and travel, and, I went out to Tucson in order to, okay, I know I'm getting really off here, but I was thinking today, they have these people movers, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I'm a people mover. I'm a person who, really okay. I had to catch this flight. It was leaving in 9 minutes, and it was like 12 gates down. And here I am in the Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I said, okay, well, I'm already, hours late for this event that I was flying out for. And, I said, okay, well, there was a hole in the plane, and I couldn't take the plane that I was originally supposed to take because it wasn't going anywhere. It was stuck. So I said, okay, we have to make an executive decision here. Sometimes in life, there's a hole in your plane, and you're grounded. So therefore, you have to take the people mover. And I was like, okay, but this isn't fast enough. It's like 8 minutes. And I got my little skull suitcase with the sugar skulls on it, and I gotta get to that, So I'm on the people mover, and I'm running. And I said, okay, you know what? This is your moment. You can do this. Just get to the gate. And when you get to the gate, get on the plane. And when you get off the plane, get on the next plane. Okay? So that's what I did. I made it to the gate, but I had to run around people. I had obstacles. And you know that there's always going to be somebody, who takes up, you're going along, and you're sweating, and there's somebody who's taking up the, 3/4 of the thing, or people walking together, and you gotta do this. You gotta, make yourself small and humble, because nobody's going to take you there. You've got to do it. You've got to figure out how to get your message across and how to get your body to the next, because we're not angels. We're humans. But it's that inner spirit, that inner spark, see, that gets you from here to there. The technology helps you, right? The planes, that's all God. God inspired somebody to make that plane. God inspired somebody to make that people mover. Otis. My dad for years worked for Otis Elevator Company here in Connecticut. Great company. And I said, a lot of that is, of course, I made up some company names in my book because it's, kind of an alternate universe. But I started thinking today, yeah, my dad worked for an elevator company for his whole career, mostly. And the other part of it, he worked for a plane company, which it was all part of the same. Anybody who lives in Connecticut knows that there's a huge corporation that almost everybody you knew worked for growing up, and there were, planes, trains, and planes, trains, and automobiles. That John Candy movie, it's awesome. But it's Sagittarius, communications, right? Transportation, travel. So that's exciting. That's what excites the heck out of me. Going up, moving on up. The 70s show that's that song. I love that show, The Jeffersons. So anyway, that's where my thinking is. And I thought, oh God, it's Lance Armstrong's birthday today. Happy birthday to Lance Armstrong, the cyclist. He's 51. And that's relevant because I spent my whole 20s, from the time I was a kid, I was obsessed with bikes. And then I ended up in my 20s, bikes and I didn't always get along. It was a little, gravity, and look at this. Look at what I'm looking at over here. I'm gonna turn this around so you can see this bicycle education program van. Just happened to be here today, and I'm like, oh wait, it's Lance Armstrong's birthday, the Tour de France champion. So, he's somebody who's had a lot of obstacles. Think about it. He comes on the planet, he's got these, and he took some shortcuts, but he had to pay for his karma, right? He got, so there was some dishonesty from what I read about Lance Armstrong, and I'm not judging. But, he's a gifted athlete. So, but now he's putting his talents to use in a way that helps other people. So he's got a bicycle, charity or whatever, and he's got a family, and we learn our lessons. We're no different. We can't sit here and judge, what someone has done. That's their soul lesson, right? That's the school that he had to go to. I'm in my school, so all right. So we're headed into Libra season, and I was thinking, the whole, we're watching the events in the UK, and all the dignitaries, and I've been watching observing what's going on. The queen is being honored and the king. And I was reading, I've been watching these videos about the queen's life because I really didn't know, and about her and her sister Margaret, Princess Margaret. And I thought, one common thing in her life was service, right? She, the Lord lifts up the lowly and the poor to seats them with princes and princesses. Her father had to become king because his brother was, dropped out. So it's like, you're pushed into service. What do? You're lifted up. You think that you're just going to have this nice, quiet life. I'm just going to be a farmer's wife. She and her sister, they thought, and they didn't educate them much. Because they're like, oh, these girls are just going to, be somebody's wife, somebody's mother. And so, we won't teach them much. This makes me really mad. And then all of a sudden, when they found out, oh, Elizabeth might be queen one day. Oh, let's educate her. And Margaret's like, hey, what about me? What about me? Don't I deserve to be educated? So she had to pretty much go and make her own way and, live her life. And it's fascinating, the relationship. I didn't know any of this because I was too young. But I found that, isn't everyone worthy of education? Isn't everyone worthy to be lifted up? To live the life that they are meant to be lived without somebody deciding that they're not worthy of education, not worthy of love. Who says? It says, God, some people think, oh, God wants to save these people, but not those people. What? Okay. That's not it. I think. And my beliefs are my beliefs, and they evolve over time. So, whatever. Take this as you will. But what I feel is that we're all going to get there, right? Some people we're on the escalator, right? There's some people ahead of you. There's some people behind you. But we're all going in the same direction, right? And even if you're not going anywhere, if you're on the people mover, you're still going. You might not be going up, but you're still going somewhere, right? You're just staying on one level for now. But eventually you're going to get on that plane. Even if you have to traverse the whole airport, then when you get to the end, you'll be in the plane and we'll see you. You see what I mean? Some people get in the elevator, they're up, whatever. And some people maybe have to go down a little bit. But we're all at different levels. You see that metaphor is perfect. So we can't look at somebody who's, behind us and say, they're behind me. They're less than me. No, because eventually they're going to get where you are, right? And maybe you can help them. Maybe you can, instead of knocking people over on your way up, you can take them with you. Say, hey, if you go this way, you can take it, just, hop up, start walking. And, you'll get up here. You can climb. You don't have to just stay on that step. You can climb on the escalator, You see what I mean? There's some people who want to push other people down the escalator. Say, get, one of those. And then there are people who say, come on up. Come on up a little. The Lord lifts up the lowly and the poor. Yeah. And Jesus is the ultimate mediator, right? Because he came to show people how, he came for everybody, right? Jesus, ascended master, however you view And it's the song, one of the songs today. Depeche Mode, 1989, Your Own Personal Jesus. Um, it's perfect. Oh man. Um, so yeah, Your Own Personal Jesus. I think I've used that song before. Is it my own or your own? I don't know. I'll post the link. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So everybody's got their own personal Jesus, right? Somebody could be, we've all got our guardian angels, we've got our spirit guides, we've got our, for some of us, it's a person in our lives who lifts us up, somebody we can bring our cares to, in prayer, however. But we all have something different. So there's no judging, eventually all the hierarchies are going to be level, right? Everybody will be at the same. There's going to be no, just guru on the, guy on the pulpit and with the, I think we'll see less of that because I think people need to feel that they're progressing at their own pace and they're going to all find their own purpose in life through their own personal Jesus, right? I grew up with the, traditionally Catholic, and you don't talk about this stuff. You just, I had nuns, I had priests, and they were great people. They inspired me. Some of them inspired me, and some of my regular teachers inspired me. But I did wish sometimes that the nuns who taught me, would kind of relax a little bit and just sit, just hang out and talk. Take off the hat. What's underneath that thing? Because I would look at them and I'd say they're regular people. They're just living. They're living together and they're sharing. They're sharing their meals, they're sharing their lives, which is a beautiful thing. But I couldn't understand why the nuns didn't get to do some of the things that the priests got to do. That bothered me. So anyway, yeah, it just didn't seem right. And I wondered, how do they stand that? And then a lot of them actually left, I found out, and there was this one great nun I had, Sister Joan. She played guitar. She was such a beautiful singer, such a beautiful person. So I was fortunate to have a lot of these personal Jesus or Marys in my life, whatever. But it's the other song, because I got two songs today. So, yeah, so like the Queen, all right, some might probably saw her as a personal Jesus, right, as somebody to look up to, she put service to her country, she dedicated herself to that, sometimes over even her own family. So these ascended masters, these people, come to us to show us how to create a life of service by applying our unique skills to lift other people up. You see? So I said, there's not one of us who's meant to be above another. We're all finding our way. What happens, I think, is that we're entrusted with more, right? So as you pass one test, it's like, oh, okay, if you're not trustworthy with this, we're not going to give you anything else. And that's a huge thing in my life, you just don't go, you just aren't, it's this, these people with their Corvettes, they want to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It's like, life is not like that. very often you need to be, given a little bit, and then it's like a baby. You don't give them a 7-course meal. No. First you get the milk, then you get the little bit of food, a little bit more food. See? It's the same thing. So, we go through these phases. And I found this song is stuck in my head. ABBA, Take a Chance on Me, 1978. I was 12. Take a risk, right? So is the universe going to trust us with, God, the universe, source, whatever? Going to trust us with, running a huge company when we haven't passed kindergarten? No. So you can ask the universe for stuff, but ultimately you have to have faith in yourself, right? Take a chance on me. You have to take a chance on you for your younger self. Say, you know what? I believe in me. I don't care if this person doesn't, that person, whatever. It's their problem. I'm going to take a chance on me. My future. See? So God is waiting for you to take the leap. To go up a couple levels on the escalator. Why are you hanging back when you could climb? Take a chance on me. Take a chance. It's got a great beat. So being trusted with more. Yeah, I love that. Take a risk. Take a risk. I'm sure becoming queen, geez, that must have been overwhelming. Did she probably have doubts and fears that she could do it? Of course. And if she didn't, that's just being human. Because there are risks involved in living. Walking out the door in the morning. But if you focus on all the things that can go wrong, you won't even get out of bed. So you have to see yourself as, blessed, guided, give thanks and go forward. Take a chance. I found this picture of myself today. There I am. That was the summer that Princess Diana died. It was August 1997. 25 years ago. I was painting this bookcase. We had just moved into our brand new house. And I was sanding and getting that bookcase ready to, and it ended up being the one in my younger son Zach's room. Wow. And then he took it apart, made it like a shelf for all his awards and his guitars and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, you've gotta focus on where you want to go, and I'm doing it in a new way that I've never done before. Having faith in myself and putting all the puzzle pieces together, So, and I have my own personal Jesuses to thank. And I know they're out there because they are sending me messages. So I'm going to go and eat the turkey chili I made last night and do some work. Take a walk. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take a chance. Take some kind of a chance. Calculated, because it's Mercury retrograde, so don't go crazy, but, take a couple of chances on yourself. Where can you move up? Where can you step into your master self this week? And I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.